What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Pod Scum. I'm your host, your bastard of ceremonies, Reckless Rexx Ruger. That, of course, if you couldn't tell by the enormous, and I do mean enormous, front teeth, that is my sidekick, my guy watching my back, always the Freddie Mercury puppet, who I can most assuredly guarantee you will not say a word during this episode. If he does, I'm fucking out of here and swearing off the use of drugs forever. That being said, welcome to another episode, as I said, of Pod Scum, the place where the cool kids come to chop it up with your boy, Rexx Ruger, a.k.a. Diamond David Lee Roth Jr. You know it's true. And looking at myself, god damn, I know it's true. That's confirmation enough. The mirror don't lie, folks. Got the rock star genetics, and I get by with a little help from my friends. That's the secret, kids. Get it, use it, love it. You'll never look this good. You don't have front man, rock star genetics. So, you know, or maybe you do. And if you're out there and you too are blessed with these rock star good looks, good on you. Happy for you. Get yourself a can of this if you really want to up your game. There, that's out of the way. And my lawyers have also assured me, and it is around the holiday time, so probably nothing decisive till after the holidays, but I'm this close to proving once and for all that I am Diamond David Lee Roth Jr., the son of glam, the front man for the band, adored by millions of fans, the peanut butter to your jam, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, Mr. Wop, Boppa, Loo, Boppa, Wop, bam, bam, shazam, hot damn. Woo. I got to get that out of my system every time, man. It's Pops talking through me as only he could. And it feels good when I do get it off my chest. Whew. Had a long day at work today. At the time of this recording, it is November 25th. We are a couple days away from Thanksgiving. And I'm giving thanks, of course, for this amazing podcast and for all my great guests. And my guests for today's show are here now. So let's dispense of the formalities, get down to it, and chop it up. Let's do it. Where are the fellas? Do I got them?
Hello, hello.
Hey. Gents, what's going on?
Pretty good. How about yourself, brother?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm thinking pretty much, man, that I'm really digging what you guys do, man. I'm a fan.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, I mean, and forgive me for not being up on this, but you guys don't have an album out yet, right?
We do actually grab that over there. So we put out our first album in June of last year, and we're working on our second as we speak. Let me try to get the glare to go away. But this is the first record. We had a very limited pressing of this on vinyl. We have it on CD, and we're gonna probably be ending up getting it on cassette pretty soon. But like I said, in June of last year, we released that. The debut album was called False Reality. It has 9 tracks on it. Mm-hmm. And like I said, it was a very limited run of that vinyl.
Yeah. That's a bold move nowadays, right? Because nobody fucks with the physical product anymore. It's annoying.
Well, you would be really surprised in the local scene. I feel like people really fucking dig. You know, we sell CDs pretty well. I feel like at these local shows, but people are always asking about vinyl. So we ended up having like this company reach out to us, and they said they were going to do vinyls, but it ended up being like this cut record deal. And it was like, that is it's like 2 like sheets of plastic that are like put together. It's not like a real vinyl.
Pseudo vinyl.
Yeah, it was really cheap up front too. I mean, it didn't hurt us necessarily, and you know, the people who got it, they didn't pay a crazy amount for it, so they were pretty happy with it. But we're gonna be doing a real pressing of both the first and the second album once we release this.
Okay. And now for people that aren't familiar, and so I get it right, introduce yourself. So which one is REAGAN BURKHARDT?
Right here.
Okay, that is you, and you are the bass player.
Yes, sir.
And you are Nick BROUSSARD?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you handle the vocals and guitar as well, right?
Yes. Me and Ezra, I'd like to say we're both lead guitarists. We both like equally play the solos, so it's a really fun time being able to trade and have fun.
And what I really like being a 51-year-old guy is I like knowing that thrash and extreme metal music is in good hands with guys like you. You guys look like young guys. If you don't mind me asking, how old are you, gents?
I'm 22.
He's the oldest.
Yeah,
He can buy
okay.
us the alcohol.
Okay.
And then I'm 19. Ezra, our guitarist, is 18, and then Alex as well. He's 19. Yeah, he turned 19 just recently.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like a 21 Jump Street thing going on here. You guys could go into like younger. It's like you guys could go into younger schools and post for even younger. I wouldn't have even thought 19. I mean, you guys look
the
really.
iPad camera.
Yeah. Good.
I think I spot a couple. I think I spot a couple sprouting right there. But listen, man, the thing that I like the most, and I have seen some of your videos on your website, is you guys really remind me of a band that's really trying to keep the throwback sound alive. You got the jeans, the high top white sneakers. I like it all.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel like our biggest thing is, while we do like to, pay homage to our, the thrash legends that inspired us and all that stuff, we try to, that's just how, we dress. That's how I am, that's just how I am walking around.
Yeah.
Public, I don't like doing, any crazy theatrics or anything like that besides acting like a fucking maniac on stage and really just promoting the music itself and focusing on the music and what the music is talking about, things like that.
There's no need to reinvent the wheel. There's no need.
Yeah. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right. The wheel's never been fucking broken. Exactly. That's right. That's right. Now, I want to dive into you and I'll pose some questions to each of you guys separately. So, was there a specific album or an artist or a song that really lit the fire for you to do music? I'll start with you, Nick.
So for me, I mean, I feel like everybody, of course, always, says like, oh, the Metallicas and stuff like that. I definitely, very, at the beginning of my metal journey or whatever you'd like to call that, Ride the Lightning was a huge thing for me, I would definitely say. But, once I started getting more into the deeper cut bands, a lot of bands, like Exodus and Forbidden, Violence, those kind of bands really, like Twisted Into Form by Forbidden. That's one of my favorite, thrash albums. It's such a.
I've had the boys on here. Great guys. I've had them on. Yeah.
We met Craig at Hell's Heroes last year. It was fucking wild.
I just had Craig on. I think I just had Craig on a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. I mean,
awesome. Killer, dude.
Yeah. And I've had the new vocalists on now because like they're, the vocalist that you hear on those albums is not who's currently singing for them.
No, he's awesome.
He's a sweetheart. We went up and talked to him and
Norman, good guy.
He was being so great. I mean, we just sat and chatted, and after they came off stage, and he was just around in the merch areas, and really friendly guy, personable.
Yeah. And it's exciting when a band like that comes back, man, because like it's always fun when like stuff that was old comes back around again, you know what I mean? And like makes a resurgence. That's exciting, especially like in the metal world, because we got really there are a lot of metal bands out there, man, but I mean it gets so watered down after a while, though. And now there's so many genres, it drives you nuts. I mean, because now there's like deathcore, melodic deathcore, this core, that core. There's too many fucking cores, if you ask me.
Oh yeah.
My thing is if it sounds good, I like it. I don't really like to categorize too much. It's all under the same umbrella, but I could see why people have the categorizations whenever the whole genre sounds the same,
Got to put it in a bottle. Yeah, got to put. And how about you, Reagan? What were the early bands that got you kind of kick-started?
So I don't know. It kind of was a slow ball rolling. I started with kind of like classic rock bands, like the Led Zeppelins, Ted Nugent, that kind of stuff. Yeah. And I kind of worked chronologically and just I kind of accidentally, but just like worked through like early 80s stuff and everyone's first album, like your Anthraxes, your Megadeth and everything. Yeah. But later in my kind of metal journey, I suppose, I was looking for more of like bass players who kind of were, their own thing. They could stand by themselves and really hold the groove down. So, Pantera and Megadeth and Anthrax again with Frank Bello.
Billy Sheehan.
From Mr. Big.
I forgot to mention, all of us in the band, Van Halen is a huge. We listen to. We're cruising down the street. We got some good tunes going.
Well, that's what I hang my whole reputation on, man. Because nowadays everybody with a laptop and a microphone is a podcaster. So I set myself apart by going under the complete delusion that I'm Diamond David Lee Roth Jr. So that's my shit. And I stick to it. I'm in character, boys. I'm in character.
Hell yeah.
And if the paternity suit does go well, and I get a little bit of that Panama money, I will fund your tour.
Hey, all right.
Yeah.
I'll do that one.
Yeah. It never hurts to have a little backing, guys. And so you guys are in Houston, Texas, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, I've got a theory here, man. The Bay Area, great thrash, great death metal out of Tampa, Florida. I think hot weather breeds fucking aggressive music. This is a theory.
Something about it.
I guess so. When you get hot and sticky, just from being outside, it doesn't bother you when you get hot and sticky from being in a pit,
Right. And you guys don't have real noticeable Texas accents, though.
I feel like Texas is a big state. I mean, I don't know.
Houston, I don't know. You don't get too thick accents around here. I don't know why.
Okay.
Also, I feel like the traffic is another reason why it breeds a lot of aggressive music. I mean, across the city, you want to rage in your car.
So what's the creative process like when you guys as a band get together and write music? Is one of you guys coming in with all the ideas? Are you guys getting together, collaborating, working this stuff out collectively as a band, jamming?
So about all of that, actually. On the first album, a solid half of the songs I had previous to Nemesis, because I had been in some other projects, and I wrote that music and was prepared to use it for that, but ended up doing my own thing. So I'd say maybe 40 to 50% of the first album was pretty much just all mine. Ezra added some guitar leads over it. Reagan and Ezra also on, like I said, the other half. They definitely helped out, when we were all in the room. Same with Alex. We would just jam out the riff, be like, all right, this is what I got, and be like, okay, well, how would we want this structure to change here? What feels the best? How many times does this need to repeat or not repeat for it to be memorable but not repetitive? It's just a balancing act, it feels like. And I'm really excited because for the new stuff and for our latest single we're going to be releasing, Governed with Fear. Here's the little cover for it.
Yep, saw it on your website too. Yeah. Now, is that also going to be the name of the next album?
Honestly, we don't know. Probably not. I mean, we have. It's such a sick cover and a good name to almost not use for an album. But I feel like whenever we do that, it kind of pushes us to make better art and stuff like that, because we were really happy with all the stuff we've had so far art wise, and that just comes out of his sketches and then goes to his dad and it's free art. We're like, let us pay you, and he's like, no. So
the Governed with Fear thing though, man, because it's an election year though, man, the worry there is maybe people thinking that you're putting a political spin on stuff,
I mean,
maybe you are, maybe you aren't, but
I mean, let me just say this. I mean, all politics are evil and inherently bad whenever it comes to it. So it's as simple as it sounds. Governed with fear. We're not in favor not in favor of anybody specifically. I mean, there's no reason to look up to these corrupt people, So it's definitely a statement on things that are going on and wars and unnecessary things and just stuff that's happening, in today's world that, we wanted to talk about.
I think it was
that where most of the lyrics come from, though. I mean, because you guys are like, when I talk to guys on here that have been doing this 20, 30, 40 years or whatever, you guys are young, man. What experiences are you drawing off of, like, for this stuff? Is it everyday life? Are you guys watching the news? Are you movie buffs? Like, what's the impetus for the creative, the lyrics and stuff?
So like for our songs, which I would say honestly, like 75% of them are talking about shit that's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the, like, just for example, one of the biggest things, like false reality, that song's talking, I mean, it's talking literally, about living in a false reality. And one thing that I've just over the years that really kind of inspired that song was, watching just social media, because a couple weeks ago, I sat down with my grandpa and I was like, hey, was like the election years and where all these stuff, like, as like the world's going to end if this person wins or this person wins or you're going to die. Was it like that back then? He's like, not nearly. I mean, there was, people that, disagreed, obviously, but, we at least still respected each other because we're in the same country and we're human and we should, Right. So,
well, people also didn't have the platform back then. So now, because social media is there, everybody thinks their opinion is important. Because they have a place to air it,
Yeah, and you can find yourself in these echo chambers of just what you want to hear because of what the algorithm is feeding you, and things like that. And depending on what social media platform you're on, you're gonna get different results on what's fact checked or not. And you really don't know what to. It's hard for, say, somebody out of the country has no idea what's going on in the country, like inside the U.S., to figure out like who's telling the truth. They're both, you're saying this and you're saying this, and they both completely invalidate each other. So again, a lot of the lyrics I would definitely say come from just real world experiences that we've seen and are just kind of, want to voice our opinions about and stuff like that. And then we have our fun songs like Aggressor, where I'm talking about a little deep sea monster,
Yeah. You got to throw that in there. Yeah. And I certainly relate to false reality. I mean, you're talking to a guy who thinks he's Diamond David Lee Roth Jr. So I mean, I understand a false reality. So, and so let me pose this one to you, Reagan, because a lot of times, man, when young guys are starting bands, the front man or the guy shredding is the glamour position. Sometimes people don't gravitate towards the bass. Did you instantly gravitate to it? Has it always been your instrument?
No, I mean, it was kind of like looking back on how I was like playing guitar before. It seemed like, I don't know. I just wanted to learn the riff. Didn't really care to worry about the solo too much. So I feel like in the back of my head, I was always worried or thinking bass like, yeah. But I guess I don't know. It took me a while to find people to even jam with. And once you do, you kind of figure out the dynamics of like where everyone works better. And it really opened my eyes to the world of bass and like what it could really mean and how much I could, put myself into it and really create a signature sound that isn't, very common in metal or that's just distinct. And that definitely inspired me when we got in the jam room and especially with these newer songs where everyone is kind of throwing in on them. Yeah, it definitely has helped inspire me and make me want to be a better bass player every day.
And you are here to say the bass players, kids out there, they do get chicks. They do. Yeah. They certainly do. And what position are you guys in right now? Because even talking to a lot of guys on here that have been doing this a long time, it's not easy to get out there and tour. Some people do have to hold down day jobs. They can only go out for a determined amount of time. Once you guys have your material out, what kind of itinerary can we expect from you guys touring? I mean, is music the full-time thing? Do you guys have day jobs? Can you go out for weeks, months at a time?
So, I mean, yeah. I mean, we definitely have gone out for weeks at a time. I mean, we went out to California for a little stint in 2023. We do all have jobs, obviously. The money ain't gonna make itself. Sadly.
Right.
But we definitely do our best, and I feel like our jobs are pretty nice and flexible with what we're doing, and for what we're trying to save up for housing. My parents are super great. They let me crash here until I'm moving out. Plan on moving out in the next year or two. So that's why we all got to have those jobs and stuff like that. But once we get the album out, we're gonna definitely. I mean, I know early next year, all the way up into summer, we're looking to just get out and play definitely around the U.S. I was talking to the Daniel from Total Thrash. We got invited to this rooftop party when we were down in LA and met Daniel from Total Thrash. He did this German thrash documentary. Really great dude. And I talked to him about, possibly, hey, dude, 2026, maybe something in Europe. And he was like, yeah, I'll get maybe the Fueled by Fire guys in contact. Y'all and them were great because, we played on the same bill at the Whiskey. And it was really great time. So 2026, maybe we'll be hitting Germany, parts of Europe. Who knows? But I know for sure 2025, lots of US.
And Reagan, I'm glad you're talking about touring and opening for people. Hypothetically, and I always have a couple subjective questions in here too that I'd like to throw at you guys. If you could put yourself on a dream bill, and nowadays I know a lot of the tours that go out are a lot of times like 3 bands. If you could take you guys Nemesis, put you on a dream bill with 2 other bands, so who would it be?
Oh, that's a good one.
I was gonna say we could go personal for this, honestly.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Yeah.
I was gonna say honestly, I gotta go with Forbidden since we met the dudes. They're great. I'd love to play with them. We played with Armored Saint, and they're also fucking awesome. They were
nice guys.
Super fucking great. I mean, he ended up mentioning a deep cut at the beginning of the show.
Oh yeah.
And they hadn't played that song in a while, and they're like, "Hey, we're playing this one for you." And it was like,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, but definitely Forbidden, and then I gotta shoot big. Megadeth.
Okay. Nemesis, Forbidden, Megadeth. That's the dream bill right there.
Right there.
And Reagan?
Well, we saw Anthrax a little bit ago.
They were killer.
They can still thrash like a motherfucker. So
yeah.
Anthrax for sure. Violence, we met those dudes. They seem super nice. Their guitarist Mario's awesome. Shreds like crazy, and their Oh, they got a new drummer, but I mean, still those drum parts, you got to be a maniac to play them. So
yeah,
whoever they got is A tier.
And I'm glad. And I'm glad that for such young guys, you guys have the foresight and really know your, your thrash metal lineage, and you pay homage to these guys because you get a lot of young musicians, who just name influences, like from the last 10 years, 5 years. I mean, you guys, it's refreshing to hear a couple of young guys come on here, and you're not just naming like Black Dahlia Murder or stuff, like stuff from the last 20 years. You guys are really going way back into the past.
I am very impressed with bands, like with just the technicality that those bands can produce, like, Black Dahlia Murder, and, a lot of the crazier, like even like brutal death metal bands. But, for me personally, I've always just, really enjoyed the more almost not standard tuning, because I enjoy death, like the band Pestilence. I'm wearing a Pestilence shirt,
Yeah.
It just gets to a point to me, where everything is happening like so fast, and the guitars are so low, and the vocals are so deep that it all, that those genres kind of just don't interest me as well as the flavors that you can get from, you just like classic death metal or some good thrash metal.
I agree with you.
I'm not saying that there's nothing good coming out. There's definitely good things coming out, but it just, for me personally, I like the more old school feel on my music,
So when you guys chose the name Nemesis, oftentimes it is tough to go online because there are other bands named Nemesis. And first of all, man, I want to take umbrage with whoever the fuck these guys are over in the Middle East who are fucking named Nemesis. Who the fuck are these guys, and how do we get rid of them?
Okay,
honestly,
so
400 and I think I went to the Facebook page and they had like 400,000 some odd fucking followers.
Yeah, so
and the music was absolute shit.
So
it really was.
So I maybe, oh God, at this point, it was probably like 3 years ago at this point. Yeah. 3 years ago, it was the original lineup where it was just me on guitar. I had a different bass player and different drummer. And we were just all sitting in the room, just kind of brainstorming. Cause I had, the first half of the album that's put out essentially at the time. And we were like, oh, we're going to do an EP. We need a name. So we were just all sitting. And oh my God, the names that came up, man, we had one, and his logo, the name was Line, and it was the L had the line going all the way. And I was like, what the fuck?
Thank God you guys aren't Line.
Yeah,
we probably wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
I was like, what the fuck is that? So I just kind of scribbled out, in like almost like an Exodus old school font, like Nemesis. And I was like,
well, I guess in all seriousness, though, and even looking on my Apple Music earlier, there are several acts on there named Nemesis. Now, I don't know if some of them are defunct and how current they are, but obviously you haven't gotten a cease and desist. I don't even know if the name is copyrighted. Is the name copyrighted? Have you guys chosen to copyright it?
So we actually copyrighted what we're tagged on our things, Nemesis Riffs. The copyright is owned right now, but it's on it's for sale for a stupid amount of money. So nobody is like pursuing like the name as in like they're not using it for any branding, like the actual word itself. Like
who's the person that demands a high payment for to use the
dude,
word
it's a crazy number, but who knows, if y'all buy enough of our shirts, we can own it someday.
Yeah, come on, guys. Help these guys out, man. They just want to be the only Nemesis on the block.
Whenever I'd come up with that, I didn't really look on, any of the streaming services for that because, again, at the time, I just wasn't really thinking about that. And then, we had put out, I had put out the demo and the first single or two, and we had started to gain traction. And so I was like, okay, well, it's a little too late now. And,
it's hard. Once you start branding yourself, it's difficult. It is.
Yeah, no. And I mean, again, whenever you look at that band from the Middle East that, is also named Nemesis, it's great that they are a completely different genre of music. They're not from the US, again,
right.
I think
that helps,
there would be any issue with that. So, we've had zero issue with that. We run through DistroKid, so everything is like copyright protected whenever it comes to our name and stuff like that. So, okay. I mean, in our field, we're all good. Yeah. So, we just need to become the most popular Nemesis. So
yeah. All those Nemesis followers, all 400 and some odd thousand of you need to jump over to this Nemesis and dump that Nemesis, right? You got to absorb. You've got to pull away and absorb their followers.
Right?
Yeah. And so a couple more subjective questions here. For you, Reagan, best gig you've ever seen as a fan?
As a fan, damn, that's a tough one. I mean, Hell's Heroes was really awesome. But like that was where we met Forbidden. We played the pre-party last year.
Yeah.
And that was really fun. Just getting to walk around and so many insane acts. Sodom was there last year.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always a plethora
or the past year.
It's just crazy bands. Yeah, and a lot of times they're there and they're just willing to talk to you and really engage with the fans, which is super cool. Like, I feel like those bigger venues, you kind of suffer from that a little bit, you know. But this one really was personable. It was like every metalhead in the city pretty much flocked to it. To everyone you had talked to in the past, couple of years, you got to catch up with, and
there's no better community than the metal community.
Oh yeah,
there's not. And same question for you, Reagan. Best gig scene.
So
you're Reagan. Sorry, Nick.
I know what you mean. No worries. Hell's Heroes is great.
I forgot your guys' names, and I haven't even gotten into the edibles yet. Forgot.
No worries.
Jesus, I should be on my game a little more.
The Anthrax show that he was talking about earlier, since he's saying Hell's Heroes, I think I might go with that one. Or there was the show on 420 at White Oak. That was the Bass Strikes Back with Death Angel, Exodus, and Testament on it. Really killer bill.
Yes, I saw that tour a couple of years ago when it came through upstate New York here, over where I live. And it's nice to see though that those guys are all in the same age bracket as me, and they can still play a lot of bands that are half their age under the table.
Oh,
I mean, they really can.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And a little fun fact, I was out of my element, but I had been talking with Will Carroll, the drummer for Death Angel, and he put me on the list to go to that show, and I was going to do an interview with him, and this is where I realized that I like to do it remotely and be in my own atmosphere, because we tried to do one backstage. He came and found me afterwards, put me on the list or whatever. I go back there, and I didn't really like doing it in person. I didn't enjoy being backstage somewhere, man. I like here, surrounded by my creature comforts and being
your
in
trinkets.
Yeah. Although we did smoke a couple of joints together, though, and that was fun. But I mean, and shout out to Death Angel, because they are fucking bona fide legends, man.
No, they sound absolutely killer. When I saw them on that show, I mean, the vocals were just cream de la crop.
First time on live, they really surprised me.
And Exodus is that band where people have not been introduced to thrash yet, man. Like, they're one of those like starting points where, like, if someone says, "What's thrash sound like, man?" I usually point them in the direction of Exodus, because I feel like that's really like a pure thrash sound.
Classic sound.
Yeah. I usually point people to that band and Nuclear Assault. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Nuclear Assault.
Our producer Randy Burns.
Our producer Randy Burns actually worked with them. So
yeah. Well, I'm in upstate New York, man. We got to represent, because I mean, obviously the Bay Area has their legends, man. Although I'm in New York, so we can claim Anthrax. They belong to us. I mean, Anthrax is all us, right? Overkill, East Coast.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and so. Let me ask you this: your Mount Rushmore. I always ask this to everybody. Your Mount Rushmore of all-time favorite musical acts. Your 4 goats.
4. Okay.
Yeah, 4.
All right.
Yes. Geography lesson time. There are 4 faces on Mount Rushmore, and it is located in South Dakota. Because mistakenly, I did not know my own geography at one point, and a commenter was kind enough to point out that I don't even know my own fucking country, but Mount Rushmore is in South Dakota.
Oh, all right.
I'll be honest.
You guys didn't know that either, did you?
Yeah. All right. So
you just knew it was out there somewhere, but
top 4. Moving on. I would say probably no specific order on these, because it's insane.
You don't have to rank them. Yep, no ranking them.
So I'll start with the metal stuff, and then we'll go a little weird with it. So I'd say for sure, Megadeth. Of course.
Yeah. I can hear it in your music, definitely.
Exodus, of course.
Yeah.
Van Halen, of course.
Yep.
Then the one that is wild is Cassiopeia. It's this Japanese jazz fusion band from they're still active. I love jazz fusion so much. It's so I don't know why I like it though. It's great, and I mean I feel like the Chris Poland influences that happened from that jazz fusion on the Megadeth albums really inspired me, and I really like the sound and how different he sounds to a lot of other guitarists. Because you have your 50 million bands that have the Slayer solos where you're just and they have their time and place for that. But I really do like the unique sound from, you know, the Megadeth guitarists where they, you know, did come from a very different musical background. So I do try to keep my, you know, ears open to stuff like that. And I really did end up finding out that I enjoy that band.
Yeah, and the Chris Poland years were fucking amazing in Megadeth. All right, Reagan, you're Mount Rushmore now.
Oof, this is tough because he's.
And I'll tell you what, you can't choose one of the extra faces on there. There's only 4. I've had people on here that just want to will more faces onto the mountain, and you can't do it.
Can't do it.
So I'm gonna have to steal half of yours. At least half, because I mean, if I'm being real, it's probably the exact same. But then we're gonna change it up a little. So definitely we'll have Megadeth on there, and definitely Van Halen. I mean, those you just can't beat. Forbidden, I would have to throw on there. I didn't really get into them until much later, but I have a deep appreciation for them. They're pretty cool. And I Pantera. I mean, a Texas band, I guess.
Okay, fair.
Yeah. And say what you want, Pantera does get dumped on a lot in the metal community, and I myself have my Cowboys from Hell tattoo. I'm a fan, man.
Cowboys from Hell. That's why. I love. Honestly, whenever it gets to their later stuff, they do have some really good, you know, interesting, badass on their later stuff. But I feel like on those first couple albums, there's no misses. The vocals are fucking. No, and let's also not forget and you know, and give the boys in Pantera credit, man. There was a point in the 90s, in the first 4 or 5 years of the 90s, when grunge took over, and then hip hop and country music really burst on and metal was dying on the vine, man. I mean, and, you know, kind of Metallica went off and did a couple of screwy head scratching albums that we weren't sure where the fuck they were going, man. Pantera was really flying the flag in the 90s for metal, and we could have lost it there, man. Pantera kept us on the fucking straight and narrow, man. You know what I mean? They definitely kind of helped grab some of that back, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what Metallica was doing, man. You know, they're putting out Load and Reload and album covers with blood and semen on the cover. I didn't know what was going on.
Bonkers ass shit is what that is.
Yeah. But I will not disparage Metallica because they are the forefathers. They did kick down the doors for everybody, man. And I mean, there's no way that any thrash band can stand up against those first 4 Metallica albums. They are masterpieces.
That's kind of what I was saying earlier. No matter where you are in metal, you have to. They have played such a big role in just the entire genre itself for the public eye, at least.
Yeah, and I know they're multimillionaires and people have to get on YouTube and be armchair music critics. Lars is not a great drummer. These guys suck. There's, you know, I mean, I don't think those guys are ever on record anywhere as claiming to be virtuoso players. I just think that they're the 4 best guys for their band
exactly.
You know, what they do is magical. Those 4.
They're Metallica. That's what they do.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, man. James Hetfield has the right hand of fucking God, man. I mean, come on. Come on, man. He's a riff fucking master. I mean, you know what I mean? There are other ones out there. You know, Kirk from Crowbar is a riff master. Gary Holt from Exodus. There are a lot of great riff runners. Max from Soulfly. There are a lot of great riff writers, man. But Hetfield's right hand is something fucking special, man. The down picking, he's a monster.
Indeed. Yeah, no, that was definitely whenever I, you know, first got into, you know, playing guitar. I wasn't really focused on lead too much because there was 0 singers around here. So I was like, fuck, I guess I got to sing then. So, you know, I feel like, you know, a lot of bands, at least 4-piece wise, are in that same situation where it's like, all right, well, one of us is going to have to do that job. And I didn't want to sacrifice, you know, being able to play guitar because, you know, I love it. So when I started, people like James, you know, just getting his riffs down and really being like, holy fuck, I need to practice if I want to play any of these, you know.
Right.
Like it really helps also, you know, expand your palette into other, you know, bands and stuff that, you know, have maybe not the most down picking crazy stuff, but just very technical and intricate parts that are interesting to listen to.
Why, was there a point in time like where you flirted with the idea of saying, I'm just going to strictly be a frontman and dump the guitar? Did you flirt with the idea at all?
God, no.
Opposite.
If anything, it was the opposite. You know, like I had said, I'd been in another project for a little bit. I had some issues with the front man. And so I was like, well, if I can't find a good front man, I'm gonna try to be the good
I'll be the front man.
Yeah,
there you go.
exactly.
Yeah. Take the initiative, right? Absolutely. And so so another one that I like to ask, and again, Reagan, I'll start with you. If I'm taking Reagan and I'm dropping him on a desert island and he can only take one album, what's the fucking desert island album?
Okay, so I want something good, like obviously it's gonna be thrash, something to like
and now remember, now I want to paint the picture here. I mean, essentially you are gonna have mood swings on this island. You're there all alone, and essentially this is gonna be the soundtrack to ultimately you dying on this fucking island.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna die out on sea. I'm gonna die trying to go. So I think by inheritance, artillery. They have some softer songs,
that would get you going,
but also enough to make me want to. All right, let's get off this island and pull up my straps.
Yeah, you gotta go. You're like, it's not me. I'm gonna get on.
Yeah, and fair enough. And I do like the fact that you didn't deliberate. I have had guests on here that really deliberated and it really let it marinate for a while. Same question to you, Nick. The Desert Island album. If you can only take one.
Honestly, the first one that came to my mind. It was two that originally came to my mind, being Peace Cells. That wasn't the first one though. The very first one, and I'm gonna stick with that, was So Far So Good So What. I fucking love that album so much.
Okay, and you would be happy on a desert island with just that album, and you know. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. And remind me again, the name of your first album that's out there right now is what?
False Reality. Get the vinyl. False Reality.
Oh, okay. And is that on the streaming platforms? While you're on here right now, I'm gonna look.
That is everywhere you might find your music. So if you just look in Nemesis, False Reality, you will see the little evil man, the red evil man.
The red, yeah. And who is the red evil man?
So
are you guys trying to develop kind of like your own, like like your own Eddie or Overkill Cali, or your own kind of mascot?
To a degree, if you want that to be, sure. But I mean, that wasn't the idea going into it. The idea was putting, kind of I don't know if you have it pulled up on your phone right now.
I have it, yes.
But putting, the main man front and center, and then, putting all like almost duplicates of him around him, and you have a huge audience. And it's like, if you've seen that clip, it's pretty funny with like the news stations, how all of them have the exact same script and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's like, you have this trusty guy up on the screen, pay attention to the screen, get your information, and then you have all the other things just repeating. And so if you want it to be the mascot, you're more than welcome to, but he doesn't have a name. He's just big media.
Okay. Fair enough. And now, Reagan, I noticed this album, 9 songs, 38 minutes. As a young band now, because we did see this trend around COVID time, and obviously people couldn't get out and play live or whatever, but there was this influx of music on the platforms. People were just barraging us with singles and EPs. Is it an EP world, or is there still a place for the LP, man? What's the format, the release format that works the best? Where do you guys stand on it?
So it seems like singles and LPs are probably your best bet, because like with your social media kind of attention spans now, people like, one quick song that they can check out right now, and they don't have to wait for or lose attention halfway through the album or something.
But you never want to forget about the people who really
like us. Will listen to a full album all the way through and really love the whole experience of it. So I think it's kind of a mix of both. We'll try to do a couple singles to get everyone excited for the LP
promotion.
Promotion, and kind of just
get it ready for the album. And I feel like as great as that is, that singles do well in today's climate, I fucking hate it. Like, honestly, I personally fucking hate this. Like, I hate the current music state, like, completely right now. I think it's a disgrace to everything that has come before it.
I think even when you're waiting for an artist to put something out, man, like when you wait for a while, even an EP doesn't always necessarily satiate you as much as a full album. But the only problem is back in the day when you dropped a needle or you put a CD in, like, you wouldn't just go picking tracks if you put like Pink Floyd The Wall. You'd go for the whole ride, the experience of it all.
That's the biggest thing I think that's kind of missing in today's music climate. And as sad as it is, we put out a single, Aggressor or Eternally Lost, and it seems like in the algorithm and stuff, it does about as good or even better than the album, because it's just one song and it's not a whole thing people have to go through. So I don't think I don't care what the music climate is at. I'm never going to be discouraged to release albums because we like writing albums, you know?
Yeah.
Well, we write albums worth of stuff, and you know,
right.
for the people that want that, and I think that's a solid at least 50 to 75% of metal fans.
Yeah.
You know, because metal fans, I feel like are a way more, not like niche, but a lot different of a group of music listener than the average, you know, just like,
right.
I like Taylor Swift and I like,
right. Well, that's why back in the day, a band like Metallica or some of these bands like could get away with, you know, releasing albums that were 60, 70 plus minutes of music. You know what I mean? It's unfortunate you don't, you know, that you don't see that anymore. But I also think that, like, and I've learned this more talking with artists on here. Yeah, great songs are important, musicianship important, but I'm really realizing though that in all actuality, you know, you used to hear the term concept album a lot, but really I think all albums, and I realize this now, are all kind of conceptual in nature. There isn't, there is a deliberance, you know, to the arrangement and the whole flow of it. Like, I'm sure you think about, like, okay, this song should sequence into the next song or whatever. You're basically telling like a story, and you do need some time to accomplish that.
Exactly. Like, that's, you know, with the first album, we had waited essentially till we had every single song name and the art figured out before we named it. Like, we wanted to figure out what song fit the art but made sense with the story of the album, because originally the way we had the album ordered, it was almost basically reversed of what we have now.
Right.
And so
it's kind of a balancing act.
Yeah, you want to see
your first 5 and your singles too of what you release. So kind of want something that they haven't heard, but you know the first song is going to be the most listened to. So
badly enough,
you have to kind of balance what you want with what I don't know, you think would
do well,
or people need to hear, I guess.
And so right now, the current single that you have out, if I'm not mistaken, Eternally Lost, is that the most recent thing that's out there right now?
Yes, sir. We are super stoked on how that one came out. Actually, on all of our CDs, we have it as a bonus track on here. So it's 10 songs on our CDs. But we worked with Randy Burns. You know, he did fucking Death, Nuclear Assault, you know, so many more.
Crazy.
And working with him was fucking awesome. It was.
Now, when you say work with him, now what does that mean? Like, you guys go to him?
So we're in Texas, he's in Arizona,
right?
But I can call Randy right now. Having Randy, you know, like I have
good guy to have in your corner.
Dude, that shit's wild, man. I mean, waking up and seeing Randy Burns is on my cell phone, you know, it's just a wild fucking feeling. But when I mean work with him, we have a guy in-house who basically, or in-house in Houston, who basically does our drum recording because we don't have drum mics here. All of the other stuff done here is in this jam room. Yeah, like, let me see if I can get this out. Okay. All of the recording gear and jam stuff, we just put, you know, mics up to here and mic it all up. You know, we have Pro Tools, and I've spent way too fucking long learning how to use these softwares and, you know, wanting to shoot myself in the foot because...
But it will pay dividends, though. It will pay dividends.
Oh, my God. Yeah. We were able to get the first album for basically the price of what some people pay for one song because we did a lot of it, you know, ourselves and stuff.
Yeah, that's smart.
So, you know, that way of doing things has really allowed us to get on the road and promote in person because, you know, we're not having to recoup the bajillion dollars that, you know, we spent on the album, because nowadays record deals, you have to be a band that's already kind of known to get one. And I feel like they don't even do too much if you're not with a major label, you know, like somebody big that's gonna, you'd be like, here's 30,000 for an album, because nobody does that anymore. So
other than just distribution, though, but you don't even really get the promotional side nowadays, because I think they almost leave it up to the artist, you know, to basically say, well, start a bunch of social media platforms, go out there and promote yourself.
Yeah,
you know?
and that's another thing. I mean, that you were talking about, you know, like you were saying, it's not even almost about the music anymore. It's about the social media that bothers the hell out of us, and it's
the followers,
we
the
write
subscribers.
And talk about. It's like, you know, you could have the most beautiful sounding band ever, you know, the gracing your ears, and if they didn't ever make an Instagram, ever make a Facebook, ever make a promotion, you'd never know about them in today's climate, because there's just so many goddamn people promoting. And it sucks, you know, whenever, you know, you put a lot of effort in, you know, a lot of thought into the albums and stuff, and then, you know, people put out a single and then go jump around and stuff for a video, and it
Yeah.
does well. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not, again, people know how to work the algorithm. I just wish it was focused on the music a little bit
Absolutely.
more.
Absolutely. And I like that you mentioned videos. Now, Reagan, are you guys, because obviously I'm from a generation where MTV actually played fucking music videos.
Yeah.
It's a bygone era right now, man. But are you guys because it still has a place in the industry as a promotional and marketing tool. Big bands are still making videos. Yeah, we're watching them on a screen this big or whatever. But a lot of eyeballs are on YouTube or see a snippet of it on TikTok or whatever. Are you guys, Reagan, interested in making music videos? Have you made music videos?
I mean, we're definitely interested. The biggest thing is trying to capture, I feel like, our live performance in the video.
Yeah.
And it's been kind of hard finding like who is going to actually do that or who can do that. And that has been tricky, but it's definitely something we're interested in. We've been kind of taking it slow and
not forcing it out.
Yeah, not trying to do something we're not really happy with or proud of.
Yeah,
so
I don't want to look back at one of these videos 5 years.
Right.
God, what the fuck?
God, that was cheesy. Yeah.
Speaking of eyeballs on things, for this single, we do have a guy right now working on maybe a possible music video for it, using a lot of our live clips from that song. So possibly there might be a music video actually, like he was saying, trying to capture our live performance. Well, hell, let's shoot the music video of our live performance.
Right. Yeah.
So
for a while it wasn't widely accepted. I don't think it was really cool in the metal world. And then like when Metallica made the one video, that kind of put the stamp of approval. Like, okay, man, extreme metal bands, it's okay. And then of course, we were blessed when MTV gave us Headbangers Ball, and we were able to see those. We could only see those great videos at fucking 1 o'clock in the morning. But I mean, still,
hey, they were there. They were there.
At least you could see them. Right. I mean, when that stuff popped on, if you're a metalhead, you got excited. You know what I mean? Like you had your 2 or 3 hour block of time every week.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's nothing like that right now. So I mean, but so how active are you guys? Obviously, we're doing a podcast right now. Do you guys feel like you're where you'd like to be as far as like your social media presence? Are you Instagram guys, TikTok guys? Are you across all the platforms?
So we are on all. Well, you
kind of have to play ball nowadays, right?
Exactly. Yeah. No, and that's not something I would love to do, but I do understand there is, a want for, people to be able to just like pop on and see whatever. But I feel like the biggest thing is to just try to work, regardless of, personal feelings about the music climate, work with it, not against it. Because as much as, I dislike the climate and how things are going, be it the singles do better than albums, be it, artists who, would have never been anywhere if they didn't spend $30,000 on promotion for themselves, like basically industry planning themselves,
Right.
So it's very interesting, but we definitely are on all platforms. Are we as active as we would like to be? We could definitely be more active. I feel like we've been a lot better in the past year than like say the year before, but there's always room for improvement and engaging and trying to just grow and stuff like that. And we with Govern with Fear planned for like essentially like a 1 week to 2 week promotion period for it, while it uploads to DistroKid, gets in the algorithm, stuff like that. So you just kind of have to play ball. Again, we are doing singles for our next album as of right now, and with shows and stuff, we're definitely right now kind of on a slower side of the year. It's closer to December. People are with their families. It's not a super crazy time of year to be playing these massive shows outside, because it's not nice weather or whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's nice weather. I like it, but
here,
not up here, it ain't.
Yeah, I was gonna say here at nighttime it gets like 50 degrees. I'm like, ooh, it's getting chilly, y'all.
Yeah. 50 degrees. Jesus Christ. It's about to take a hard left turn here around this time of year in upstate New York, man. And we're about to be heading into cold and snow, man. Yeah. I mean, something you guys would fucking it would hit you like a ton of fucking bricks. You guys down in Texas. I mean, I'm getting out to go to work in the morning and starting my car, and it's fucking 25, 30 degrees already right now. I mean, we had our first couple of snowflakes the other day. Nothing is really stuck yet, man. But I mean, if you lived here your whole life, you at least you expect it. You're braced for it. It's inevitable.
I bet. Yeah, we were actually joking, like as we were talking to the band Electrocutioner up from New York. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're a pretty cool band. we were just shooting shit at Hell's Heroes because he came down, and I remember him saying and talk about the weather there, talking like it can get like below, and I was like, oh my god, dude, it doesn't even like. It snows maybe every like 3 years here.
And it's a panic, and it's a panic, right? When it does snow. Yeah.
No, I mean, even without snow, we had that really bad freeze a couple years back that like knocked off our entire power grid and everything.
You guys just want to, and suddenly you just guys, Texas is closed. It's closed.
Yeah, it was.
We're shutting the whole state down. Now, okay, so this is one of my more detestable questions, but despite the fact that it's detestable, everybody has fucking had no problem answering it so far. So I will pose it to you boys, and you guys are metalheads, so I don't think you'll have any problem. But if we were to barter with God, we have God here with us right now, and we're able to put on our general manager's hat. Think of yourself as a sports GM, and we could have a dead rock star back, but we've got to give one away. Who would it be, Reagan? Who do we want back, and who could we fucking get rid of?
Oh, I already know who I'm giving away.
Wait, okay, maybe you go because I'm still thinking.
I don't know who I'm. Okay, well, there's so many to take.
And I will say that I've heard a lot of great ones. I've heard, I can't remember everybody that we've been traded for, but in episodes, the great Dimebag Darrell has come back, Kurt Cobain has come back, and I had a couple guys on the other day from England the other day, who wanted Kurt Cobain back, and I think he gave me Chris Martin from Coldplay.
Yeah. There's pretty bonkers. It's out there.
Yeah. Well, there's got to be somebody when you're watching their music videos or you're watching them, they just fucking irk you.
So yeah, no, I'd say one thing that we'd have a little bit of experience. I mean, my past band, it was some bullshit, but one person I'd have to say I'd definitely get rid of in the rock star universe would be like, Marilyn Manson. They've had a lot of issues with, sexual assault and underage people. I don't know. I don't really fuck with people that fuck with underage.
Scratch off any plans for Nemesis Marilyn Manson, Bill. Right? We stepped on Marilyn's toes. That's all right.
And I never quite
got it myself either. So some stuff just goes over your head. But I've also been guilty on here of saying that. There's a lot of bands that get a lot of hype, and it might be sacrilegious to say, but even like a band like the Beatles, I don't fucking get it. I fully admit.
he honestly kind of likes it. I really don't either.
Yeah, I just don't. Hey, listen, I understand that they were great songwriters. All four of them equally great songwriters, great producers, man, great creators or whatever. But I just don't know if I want to give them the coveted spot of the greatest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life.
I think I've said that exact same thing to him in a conversation. Out back, just having a smoke.
I got into him when I was 10, so I think that helps.
Anyways, the one I'd take back, I think there's two people I'm going to debate real quick in my head, either Gar Samuelson or Eddie Van Halen. Gar Samuelson, there's just not enough video of him. He is a fucking god. You can listen to his just raw drum track, and the amount of finesse and just feel, you can hear the songs inside of the drums. They fit perfectly. Dave got so fucking lucky with his people.
Very.
Dude, holy shit.
Dave's been lucky enough to really get some great virtuoso, like real musos in his band over the years.
Crazy musicians, dude. Crazy musicians. And I think, Gar and Chris set that standard. So honestly, I think I'd have to go with Gar.
Okay. And who are we getting rid of again? We're getting rid of Marilyn Manson for you. Out of here. Yeah. Okay. I almost think like we're getting over there, man. I think the general consensus would be that Marilyn Manson is a huge star, man. If I was a general manager of a team, I would want a couple more people back if I was giving away Marilyn Manson. But we're just doing a one-on-one swap, though. But I feel like we should almost be able to get Gar and Eddie back for a Marilyn Manson trade. That's big.
I'll take that trade. Yeah. I'll take that trade.
And now Reagan, go ahead.
So Eddie Van Halen, I'm bringing back. We're resuscitating him.
Okay, but who are you giving away? Are they worth 2 points, man?
I think I can get rid of a whole band pretty much.
Oh my God!
Oh, now we're stepping on some toes, Reagan. This I like.
Oh, Motley Crue's a good one.
I think we could get rid of Motley Crue for Eddie Van Halen again.
Okay.
Current day, no, honestly, they've done so. Okay, again, the music, separate the music from the artist. They wrote some songs for.
I love them. I've been to see them in concert tons of fucking times. They're a big part of my childhood. Yeah.
My dad, my mom, everybody in that time, that was this everybody heard of them. But the shit that they've done as a person, wow.
Well, there's that too. Well, there's that too, and there's also this whole thing of like where I think you can be guilty of sometimes of knowing when you stayed at the party too long. You know what I mean? And Motley Crue might be guilty of that. Motley Crue might be guilty of that right now.
Don't let those bastards get you.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure that Motley Crue should still be taking the general public's hard-earned money for what they're doing up on stage. And again, I'm not a musician myself. But like when people go take YouTube videos and they come home and they want to play, armchair music critic, and people are outing them for using backing tracks. And again, I don't know the ins and outs and all the jargon, but you hear these things like like Nicky hasn't actually played a note on his bass in years and everything. I mean, I can understand like trying to beef up your sound a little bit. I realize a lot of big bands, feed a little bit in to bolster the sound. But what the fuck? In the '80s, we took a Grammy away from Milli Vanilli for fucking for lip syncing.
Yeah, exactly.
And now this is acceptable.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and then
I like their music.
Reading their autobiographies or biographies about themselves, dude. They'll just the shit they did. Oh my god, they've done some crimes against humanity for sure.
Yeah, not the best of human beings. Yeah, that's actually true. I mean, Vince Neil going up there, and Vince Neil going up there in his current shape. I equate, if you're not going to play the guitar and you're just a front man and you don't have the weight of a guitar on you, that's a little bit different. And maybe it's a little harder to be mobile and you need to be a little more stationary. But Vince owes it to the fans, man, to get himself into a little bit better shape. The last couple of times I've seen him, it's a lot of this holding out the mic to let us sing. I don't need to come and hear myself fucking sing.
Exactly.
I mean, that just seems wrong to me. I mean, and again, it gets back to the whole, staying at the party for too long. You know what I mean? You can be guilty of not knowing when to call it a career.
Yeah, I feel like there's too many bands out there who are their age that get zero of the flack because they aren't guilty of like literally anything Motley Crue is doing. So again, there wouldn't be people saying these things about them if there maybe wasn't some validity to it,
Right. But all right. So before we wrap this up, man, I want people to be able to know where to find you. You're on the streaming platforms, but if people want to get into your music, what's the best? Now, you guys do have a website.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that is
which is already ahead of the game. A lot of established bands are only using their Facebook and their Instagram. But you guys have a bona fide website.
Yeah, it's just www.nemesisriffs.com. Nemesisriffs.com.
That's all because of our Pakistani nemesis friends over there. That's why we can't have just www.nemesis.com. So
I don't think that was them. Funnily enough, like I said, this is just some third party that owns the domain. So they just want that money.
And like, how funny that you guys are fighting over the name Nemesis, and you really are each other's nemesis.
Exactly, right?
There's a lot of nemesis going around. It's not cool, man. It's not cool at all, man. But okay, so Nemesis Riffs, and then obviously you guys are on all the socials, and you guys are on the streaming platforms. False Reality is the album that's out there right now.
Yes,
and I feel like you've let it slip a couple times, man, that I do believe come next year we will see an album by Nemesis that will be called Governed by Fear. Or With Fear. Is that what you said? With Fear. Governed with Fear.
It may be that name. Who knows? Just stay tuned. You'll know. I mean, we honestly, again, we like writing all the songs, figuring out literally everything, and then figuring out which encapsulates the album the best,
Yeah. So, and you guys are good, and you guys are good promotional guys. I mean, like, I think you guys understand, even for your young age, that unfortunately it's not just about playing the music. That unfortunately there is a business side to this too, as well. And because I think a lot of guys would just love to say, I'll do the music and just let somebody else deal with the business shit.
I wish, man. God, if only. That's the dream. Like, honestly, the dream at this point isn't even to make money off of it. It's just to not have to worry about the business and play the music.
Right. I mean, but you guys are articulate, though, man. I mean, and you come across great in the interviews or whatever, man. And you guys seem really poised and like you really are headed in the right direction. So I wish you guys a lot of luck, man. You got a new fan with me, man. And I'll try to spread the word around, and hopefully, a couple days when I put the episode up or whatever, people will tap in. I can't promise you that I will break your band because I'm just a little old podcast myself, but
no worries, man. Again, thank you so much. We really appreciate you for having us. For anybody watching out there, easiest way to find us anywhere, if you just Google Nemesis False Reality or any of our song titles, easiest is to find us False Reality because that's the album title. If you Google Nemesis False Reality, it should pop up our website, Facebook, Instagram, but we are on everything. Facebook, Instagram is Nemesis Riffs. You know, same with our TikTok and stuff like that. We have a link tree that has all that good stuff in.
If you like physical stuff,
we have a whole
CDs.
store on our website. Check that out.
Yes, I was. Yes, and before I let you guys out of here, I will say that I was very fond of the Nemesis winter hat.
Well, hey, maybe if you send over some of those address details, we could get one over to you.
Yeah,
it's
yes.
It's so damn cold over there.
I did see that you guys had winter beanies, and I will take you up on that. I will send you my address, and I don't usually use my platform to pilfage fucking wares, from my guests.
No worries. Hey, no, we'd love to.
But I will say though. Yeah, but I will say that last year I did interview Ken Andrews, the great guitar player for Obituary, who did send me a winter hat and a shirt. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Similar mindset.
We'll definitely throw some goodies in there for sure with that winter cap.
That sounds good, brother. Listen, man, it was a lot of fun. You guys were a lot of fun, man. You answered all the questions, man. It was a blast talking to you guys, man. Really, I enjoyed it, man.
Thank you. It was really,
and I'm glad we're in touch now, man. So, when shit's percolating and you got some new shit ready to come out or whatever, we'll do this again.
Yeah, for sure. Count on it.
Let us know.
Awesome talking to you guys.
Contact.
Yeah,
sure.
Appreciate you guys doing it. Bye. Later, guys.
Peace.
See ya.
Later. There they go, folks. Couple of great young guys. Isn't it great to know, as a 51-year-old guy, it's great to know that heavy metal is in the hands of young guys like that. That is, I want to get their names right. Nick Broussard. I don't want to say which side of the screen he was on because I'm trying to think of when you guys watch it. Okay, Nick Broussard was the vocalist, guitar player. We established that at some point in the interview, folks. So if you need to go back to figure out who's who, but I did address them by name several times. Nick Broussard is the vocalist, guitarist. REAGAN BURKHARDT was the bass player. You can always tell which one is the front man. It's pretty obvious. Nick talked more. But that's what frontmen do. He's got LSD, lead singer's disease. It's been notorious in rock music for years. And no, seriously, both the young guys, man, awesome fucking band, man. Nemesis, go check them out at nemesisriffs.com. That's their actual website. And as I said, on the streaming platforms, there are numerous musical acts that go by the name of Nemesis. But these guys specifically are a thrash metal band from Houston, Texas. Their first album is called, I just had it here, False Reality. I don't know if you guys can see that out there. False Reality. 9 songs, 38 minutes, man. These guys are good. And these guys, what I appreciate about them being a 51-year-old guy is they pay homage and they understand who the gatekeepers were and who where the lineage of their genre of music started. As you hear them talking and heaping praise upon bands like Forbidden, Anthrax, Megadeth, Metallica, Violence. It warms the embers of my heart. I will just leave it at that, man. The boys, and if you go to nemesisriffs.com, they do have at least one video up, possibly more, of them playing a recent show, and they really have the throwback look too. The blue jeans, the white high top sneakers, man. It really felt like watching vintage old school Metallica and or Megadeth. And not to mention that despite their young age, these guys are very, very talented musicians and songwriters. So I do hope people that tap into my show will go check these boys out. These are the next generation that are going to keep extreme music and metal music alive. So these are the kind of guys that we need to lift up in the metal community, man, and make sure that we send them, catapult them into the right direction and start them on the right trajectory, man, because the torch has to be passed at some point. There will be a time when we will not have the Metallicas and the Anthraxes and the Megadeths of the world. They will get old. They will retire. They will fucking die. Like we all will. But these guys are, as you heard, 19, 20, young guys that are going to be the guys that take metal music, continue it on into the 21st century, man. And I promise my listeners out there, this is Rexx Ruger approved. I wouldn't say it if it wasn't, man. I have listened to the False Reality album a few times through. I always do my homework before my guests come on. It is a fucking face melter. It fucking rips from start to finish, man. These guys are very capable, as I said, songwriters and very talented musicians and great young fucking guys, man. So go out and check out Nemesis from Houston, Texas. Do yourself a favor and tap the fuck in. And let me give myself a look here because my interview is over and I want to make sure that the quaff The Roth quaff, pardon me, is still in order. And guess what, folks? Survey says I'm still fucking gorgeous. And of course, again, right here, kids, get it, love it, use it. It's not very thrash metal, man, so I may be ostracized, man, but come on. When you're the offspring of the glam god himself, you know, you have an image to uphold. And yes, I'm blessed with the rock star genetics, but I got to put a little bit of work in too. Not much. Most of it is au naturel. But, you know, hey, I'm not going to brag, and you guys shouldn't hate. Just congratulate. That being said, make sure to like and follow PodScum on Facebook. That's key. We were just talking with the boys about the social media platforms. You got to play ball nowadays. I'm out there too, man, scratching and clawing and grinding. That's where you'll find out updates on new episodes that have been released and any other ramblings and bullshit that I want to put up there. And make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. That's important on this channel to stay tapped in where the cool kids come to chop it up with your boy, Rexx Ruger. That being said, let me end this the way I always do by reminding you guys out there to take it easy and keep it sleazy.